So let's look then at the nature of migration and levels of remediation that you're seeing in the market at the moment. So we have observed a few different sort of dynamics in the market, especially over the course of the last couple of years with the pandemic sitting in the middle of that. Pre-pandemic, there was the beginning of a modernization conversation in the sense of, hey, I can't, a lot of the early business cases around lift and shift and cost reduction were publicly not really working that well. So, let's try and do something more meaningful. Meaningful often comes with a higher price tag. And there was a lot of response, particularly from the CSPs and the industry on modernization. The pandemic happens and two things happen in the pandemic. The first thing is there's a massive proof point for how fast you can transform if you really want to get after it. And an existential threat really sharpens the mind. The second aspect was actually an increase of just get us there, like just get us there as fast as possible, where we saw the return of an increase in lift and shift mentality, but for different reasons. And then I would say maybe in the last 6 months, maybe as we are hopefully pulling out of the pandemic in most countries, that we're returning to a more thoughtful modernization conversation. Is that a characterization that you recognize, or?
I've seen maybe a slightly different dynamic, right? I agree there was a lot of enthusiasm as lift and shift, which resulted in disappointment, right? Because people would say, I lifted and shifted, my costs went up, sometimes went up by quite a lot, right? And if you purely lift and shift, I don't know you get much in the way of benefits associated with agility and scalability and what have you. A messy virtual machine off prem is not necessarily better than a messy virtual machine on prem, right?